All right, we're back with the roundtable, and I want to get to the death of Robert Mueller. And just as a reminder, here is what Donald Trump posted just minutes after the death was announced. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. Governor Christi, you knew Robert Mueller for many years. What do you make of that?
Well, look, first of all, it's reprehensible for anyone to say that about someone who had the life of service that Robert Mueller had. Even more reprehensible for somebody who is the commander-in-chief of the military to say that about a veteran, right, who was a decorated veteran in the Vietnam War, and by the way, who didn't get drafted, volunteered, as you noted earlier in the program.
While many others were doing everything they could to stay out of.
Yeah, of course. I don't know who you're talking about, but yeah. So, you know, the fact is, I knew Bob very well. We worked together for 7 years when I was U.S. Attorney. And by the way, we had some epic fights during that time. I've heard some stories, yeah. Yes. And so it's not like I'm a unadulterated Bob Mueller fan. There were a lot of things we disagreed on. But the one thing I could tell you about him is that when his country called him to service, he never said no. And he never put conditions on it. And even times when the Russia investigation went on, when he was brought into play there, he wasn't up to it. I mean, we saw that at the end. Yeah. But he couldn't say no when his country called him and asked him to serve. And this is something to say what the president said about Bob Mueller just shows you how completely self-consumed the president is. Because that's what it comes from. It comes from his own sense that the only thing that matters in the world is him.
Instantaneous the way he did it.
And of course, that's what a child does, John.
And by the way, Sarah, when Barack Obama decided to extend Mueller's service as FBI director, he'd served the full 10 years, had to be another vote of the Senate. Do you remember what the vote was?
I believe it was unanimous.
It was 100-0.
That's right.
And it was a recorded vote.
He was only the 6th ever FBI director. Many FBI personnel would tell you he was probably the best director that the FBI ever had.
No Kash Patel, though.
I do marvel at the sort of Streisand effect of this. Would we be talking about Robert Mueller's service today if Donald Trump hadn't said that? And that's really what Donald Trump has always been so good at, is picking these sort of more cultural-ish fights that aren't about policy. They're not even about politics. And you have folks, I think, correctly pointing out that these are the same people who, when anyone said something negative about Charlie Kirk, that they said that's absurd. They were right. And yet, here we are.
I didn't know Mr. Mueller, but I admired him from afar. His legacy to our nation will outlive any tweet or any statement of the current president.
And that's all for today. Thank you for sharing part of your Sunday with us. Check out World News Tonight and have a great day.